Good afternoon. Welcome back, everyone. There's not many places that are going to supersede our start today other than Tyson Fury's cut, are there? If this was anyone else other than Tyson Fury, nothing would be talked about. There wouldn't be, the crazy conspiracy theorists that come out because of this, because it's Tyson Fury. That wouldn't exist around any other fighter. But Tyson Fury's past history of basically talking shit and telling lies at will and mistruths and, constant contradictions mean that when this does happen, and I'm sure you were all the same, Friday night when you heard this, when this first broke, I heard this Friday night, I'm sure you were all the same, that we were all instantly thinking, we told you so. We all knew this was going to happen. This was widely talked about by boxing fans in the community. So it was no surprise, and you just had that almost, there was an element of disbelief that no, he's done it again, But listen, you all know I'm not a big fan of Tyson Fury, the man, not at all. But when it comes to, do I go down any conspiracy route or any deliberate act by Team Fury? No, I don't. I must admit, when I first saw the cut footage, my first thought was, how come we have got footage that's, probably 10, 15 seconds long of the exact moment of the cut, all readily pre-packed to be pushed out to us, the boxing community. But then since hearing that Turkey, Al Sheikh, has cameras installed, I'm assuming for whatever reason, to prevent any skullduggery in camp, shall we say, or just to keep an eye on what's going on. But so that explains the reason that the footage is there in the first place. It's all down to past experience with Fury, and so that gives you that element of suspicion. But for me, that's as far as it goes because it's a legit cut. I want to talk about cuts per se and the two ways in which cuts happen predominantly. The first is, especially cuts like this. Now, Tyson's eyebrow is a perfect example to illustrate this. Now, cuts on the eyebrow invariably happen by these mechanics. So a shot will land and the force and the compression of the shot will compress the skin that with that much compression against the sharp bone underneath, that the amount of pressure applied to that bit of skin over that sharp piece of bone means that sharp piece of bone cuts through the skin. The skin is the weakest point, and that's the point that gives under the compression of the punch. So, and then the second one is what people like to refer to as sort of slashing shots, where that will cause the skin to be sort of pulled at such a tensile rate that it will just pull it beyond the point of its elasticity, and then it will just tear under that tensile stretch, shall we say. So they're the two ways which cuts happen. Now, what is worrying for Tyson Fury is that eyebrow now has been opened up badly by Otto Wallin and now by this sparring partner. And it's been opened up badly twice by a southpaw from the southpaw stance. Now, going into a fight with Usyk, who is very, very accurate and has a very, very high punch output, this has got to be a major concern. And this has got to be for Team Usyk a major part of their fight plan. There is going to be a concerted effort to target that eye, undoubtedly, because that eye now has been, like I said, opened up badly by the southpaw from the southpaw stance now twice. And this cut looks almost as bad as the Wallin one. Not quite as long, but certainly as deep and as certainly as damaging. So for me, that's going to play a huge part in this fight. And also, when I look at the rescheduled date of it's around mid-May. So if we say we are now, we're early February. So February, March. So let's say February to March is a month. April, May. Now, at least 2 weeks of May, you're probably not going to spar for. You're going to wind down for. So that takes another 2 weeks off that date. Now, to me, Fury's either going to sacrifice some time sparring or some time in healing that cut. Now, the depth of that cut, I would say, I wouldn't want to spar on that for a good 6 to 8 weeks. I know skin can heal, aesthetically skin can heal very quickly. But in terms of that healing, and that skin is now going to be weak anyway. That area, that eyebrow is now going to be a weak area, even more so now. And now you're almost rushing it to heal before you can spar on it again. Or do you relax the sparring and shorten the term you're going to spend sparring for Usyk now to give that eye extra time? To me, either way you go about that, there's a sacrifice, and it's just which is the lesser of the two evils. But neither of it bodes well for Fury, in all honesty. None of this situation bodes well. And then you've also got the mental impact on Fury. He was almost 2 weeks out, reaching physical and mental peak, and we all know Fury struggles when out of camp. He's admitted as such himself. But how much of a toll is this now going to take on Fury's mental side? That we will wait to see about. But I'm sure there's that element as well, which no one sort of seems to talk about. Danny Flexen on Seconds Out, I've pulled him up on stuff that he said before, and I do wonder how guys like that get these prominent positions in boxing journalism, because he talked to Sam Jones at the weekend, and a couple of the comments he said on there I just found laughable. One of them was, are you surprised Tyson Fury is not wearing a full face, or what some call a full bar face mask? So it only goes sort of over the cheekbones, doesn't go under the nose or under the chin, as a lot of face guards do. And he said, well, are you surprised, to Sam Jones? And Sam Jones said no. Now, and Sam Jones said this, anyone who knows anything about Tyson Fury will know that Tyson Fury he spars a lot without any headgear. A lot of fighters like to spar without headgear. I can kind of equate it to, a lot of footballers don't like to wear shin guards, or they wear the very smallest shin guards they can get away with, and especially in training, they won't wear any. A lot of fighters don't like wearing headgear for a number of reasons. Headgear can dramatically reduce your vision and your field of vision, because wearing headgear, it can cut off your peripheral by a large amount. And it can also, it makes your head bigger. So where you would be sparring and you would be slipping shots by centimetres or quarter of inches, the way you would slip them shots, you now get clipped with those shots, because your head is almost an inch wider either side. And when it comes to the visibility, it cuts it down dramatically. And when you wear a full bar, a full fast face guard, stuff that's coming up, you can't see. And it's for this reason, for those two sort of few different reasons, that a lot of fighters don't like wearing head guards. And then Danny Flexen went on to say, are you surprised that Fury got caught with a shot at this point in sparring? To which Sam Jones correctly said, no. I mean, what type of question is that? Are you surprised Tyson Fury got hit with that shot? What the fuck do you think happens in sparring? Do you think sparring partners just come in with their hands tied now on their backs, or lay down for you to just tee off on them? I just wonder what these guys, they have no experience or no knowledge of how this game, or, especially from the fighter's side and the training side and what happens in the gym side. Are you surprised he got hit with that shot? Just, so yeah, sorry I digress, but back to the main point. This on the face of it, this is Fury getting cut, but what follows from this is more disadvantageous to Fury than it is Usyk, and it's much more advantageous to Usyk than it is to Fury. But yeah, in terms of conspiracies and all that, no, but Tyson Fury can't blame anyone for him leveling this stuff at him because of his past record and the way that he's carried himself and the sort of things he said throughout his career. But moving on. Buatsi versus Azeez at the weekend. Very good, entertaining fight. I thought the difference in that for me was Azeez never made it uncomfortable enough for Buatsi that it would change the outcome of the fight. Azeez let Buatsi box in comfort for a large majority of that fight, meaning he didn't pressure him, he didn't make things uncomfortable enough for Buatsi to change the outcome. Most of the ability and the talent lied with Buatsi. Azeez was very accurate with his jab, and it's a very good jab, but very underused. And a lot of times, when he did throw the jab, and he did land the jab, and the jab landed clean, it brought Azeez in range, and it brought him to sort of the mid-range or almost on the inside. And then Buatsi, who I'm sure preferred to do his work in the mid-range or at distance, didn't do a lot. There was opportunities for Azeez on the inside, which he didn't kind of take. He found himself sort of where you would call sort of in between being on the inside and the mid-range. So more inside than anything else. But while he found himself there, he didn't really do anything, or he would throw a single shot and then step back out to distance again and again, giving the initiative to Buatsi, and that's the way it kind of continued. And Buatsi rode out a comfortable winner, albeit a fight that Buatsi won quite clearly, but a fight that was entertaining nonetheless and had the appearance of being competitive. I must admit, I did think Azeez looked great in his Marvin Hagler kit. That was a touch of class, that. So, yeah, good fight, very entertaining fight. But, yeah, Buatsi looked, there was only ever going to be sort of one winner in that, and I thought Azeez could have made that a much more competitive fight than he did. And again, you know, it's easy saying that from the outside, but I look at these from the very highest level. I think that's what we have to do. But, you know, credit to both, put a great show. Conor Benn against Peter Dobson. Now, I can understand why Peter Dobson has been in with all the top guys in and around that way as a sparring partner, because he boxes very much as a sparring partner, in the mould of a sparring partner. He doesn't do a great, or he did, and I've only seen highlights of his previous stuff, and I watched the whole fight against Conor Benn, but certainly against Conor Benn, he didn't look like he'd particularly come to win. He did land a couple of good shots, you know, throughout the fight. He landed a good shot early on, I think round 1, 2, or 3. But he never really pushed. He never really looked like he was there to seriously go and win that fight. And I must say, and you guys know, I've been a long-time supporter of Conor Benn, and I've always given him the benefit of the doubt. And yes, the guys that he stopped prior to this and prior to the guy he fought in Florida, yes, those guys didn't have fantastically good chins in their prime, and he boxing them at the correct time as well. But he certainly does look like his punch power has dropped since the whole PED thing. And like I said before, and you all know, I'm a Conor Benn fan, so this is not me, you know, trolling Conor Benn. But you do just have to look and say, the punches don't even look like they have much subtle impact when they land. They don't. He doesn't look to have any weight in his hands anymore, does he? And as the guy that he fought in Florida, and same with Peter Dobson, he hit with as flush and with as much leverage and sat down as much as he possibly could on punches. He hit Dobson with, you know how some guys can throw the power shot on the punch machine, and they're throwing it in perfect conditions because they're hitting a stationary target. They're really planting their feet. And Conor Benn had as much luxury with the shots he landed against Peter Dobson, and not one of them had any telling effect. I don't know. Do you have to ask the question? There looks to be a significant drop in power. And when he talks about Haney, I think G-Man said this, and a couple of other people, you are dreaming. If you fought the likes of Haney or Tank, you would absolutely get lit up to the point of embarrassment. I'm sorry, you just would. And this is me, and I said all the way through Conor Benn's career, you know, his fight by fight progression for a stage was fantastic. But I look at him now, and he's so obvious. There's no thought. He's such an easy fight. If you put him in front of Haney or a Tank, he would get stood on his head and stopped and made a complete fool of. I'm sorry, and it pains me to say this, I'm a Ben fan, but these are just facts. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, the progression looks to have stopped. There's no thought. There's no invention. He doesn't lay any traps. He doesn't work his way. He boxes like he's Mike Tyson. But Mike Tyson had legendary power and sublime skills. Conor Benn at this point has neither. And he boxes like he's the second coming of Mike Tyson. I don't know. A few thoughts for today. That's our Monday session anyway. I'll see you all soon. I wish you all the best. Hope you're all well. I'm out.